Howdy everybody! Welcome back to my channel Passion Theory and my continuing blind let's play of the Scorchfarer demo. I have no idea how long this is gonna go because it's blind, so I don't know how long their demo is. So for all I know, this could last forever or not very long at all. Oh, it's block change based on the time. Alright! Here she comes! Look! Yuki screamed as he pointed to the sky. Michi noticed a large creature in the distance, its white scales reflecting the light from the sun, making it easier to spot. Well, she has a different outfit. Oh, I guess because she was in her nightgown. They were standing on the north platform of the South Academy. The floor of the platform, being made of a transparent material, allowed them to see the huge drop under their feet. I don't like that. I've been to places where they have that, like in certain museums and science centers and things, and I just, not a fan. This platform was connected to one of the biggest entrances to the Academy, which was carved on the exterior of a giant apple tree. Lupomo, one of the oldest and most respected institutes of the New World. Do you have everything with you? Yuki asked. I just need to check the time. I forgot to do that. So that way I can, keep this at roughly a half an hour long. I think so, Michi replied. She hugged her partner's arm as soon as she stepped onto the platform. She had never been good with high places, so she preferred not to look down through the floor by keeping her head straight. That's me. Klee would like to say hi, apparently. Did you guys hear her meowing? You like to see her? Here is her. Arbitrary needs to be in every video visit. Okay, you have visited. I tried to pack everything I could. I think it is more than I should have, to be honest. Should I take out the clothes that I put in your luggage? Maybe we will just discard everything once we reach our destination. Yuki, help! I'm so nervous, Michi said, trying to keep her eyes straight on the platform. Yuki laughed nervously as he heard Michi show her restlessness. With a creature like that, I think we can bring all the luggage we want, Yuki said. The large creature flew over the platform before making a turn and landing on it. Yuki covered his face as the strong wind produced by its wings was sending leaves and twigs flying everywhere. A wyvern, I was about to say, is it a dragon? Wyvern stood proud in the middle of the platform before making its way towards where they were. Whoa! Oh, I want to snuggle him. Yuki moved close to the creature. He had been trained to ride wyverns during his academy years, so he knew how to approach them correctly. This was his first time meeting this one, though. Compared to the others he had rode in the past, this one looked highly trained. As he came close, the wyvern lowered its mouth to smell Yuki. It huffed and allowed him to move closer. Yuki checked on the tag that was hanging from the right side of its saddle. Kita. It is a female, as they mentioned, 3 years old, Yuki said. As Yuki read from the tag, he noticed the name of their terraforming group was on the tag as well. This is the wyvern that was assigned to us, said Yuki as he stepped back to look up at the creature. The wyvern was almost 2.5 meters tall and had a very unfriendly face. Not very unusual for a wyvern, Yuki thought. I hope she can't smell fear, or she will eat me, Michi said, looking at the creature a few steps behind Yuki. I thought she would be much scarier. Just look at her eyes. Do you think she likes us? She has to. She fixed her hair before speaking again. I remember reading that they are very proud creatures. Maybe we should have brought a gift for her. They are territorial, but not that much. There is only one way to find out if she likes us or not, Yuki said, moving closer to the creature once more. He began to stroke the side of her neck. The wyvern didn't move away. However, she did look back at Michi as if she was expecting her to do the same. All must pet the wyvern. All must pet and worship the wyvern, as is right. Michi felt the chill run down her spine as she saw the wyvern look directly at her. The girl moved closer to the creature, extending her hand towards it. Hello, small one. You are a partner now. I will take care of you as well, Michi said, followed by an inaudible sigh. I will help you navigate your way. Yuki is not good with directions, Michi whispered to the wyvern while smiling at the creature. What was that last part? Asked Yuki with a dumb expression on his face. Who is saying Michi? Oh, this girl. A very loud voice coming from inside the academy grabbed the attention of Michi and Yuki. The wyvern moved her head up and looked in the direction of the voice as well. A girl, even smaller than Michi, ran towards the platform. On arriving, she grabbed Michi's hands, trying her hardest not to cry. Except for this, I think she's super cute. I actually think her design and stuff, I think she's cuter than Michi. Except for this girl, Yuki had already said goodbye to all of his friends and acquaintances. He knew she would show up, even though everyone else in the academy was busy. I made up my mind, you are not leaving, said the crying girl. I don't want to be alone. Yuki moved closer to the wyvern, which was puzzled by the screams of the girl. Once it realized she was not a threat, the creature looked back at Yuki. Yeah, like, a way to run up on her, and then, like, this wyvern might decide to just eat your face. The man commanded the creature to lower its body so he could mount their belongings to its sides. I don't trust Yuki Haru. He's a bad influence, she said out loud. How am I a bad influence again? Yuki yelled back at her while he was working on Kita. The wyvern only looked back and forth throughout the conversation. This wyvern can probably understand everything they're saying, and she's just like, hey, what? Don't be talking about my new peoples that way. I know! I will go with you! The girl screamed, ignoring Yuki's question. Ika, calm down. If it wasn't for Yuki, we wouldn't have got this far. Thank you for worrying so much, Michi said, embracing her in a hug. I'll be alright. We will be alright. I'll tell you all about it, and whenever I can, I promise, Michi said, trying to calm her friend down. Ika slowly wrapped her arms around Michi and started to sob slowly. After almost half a minute, that's not very long, they both moved away. Ika removed her glasses and cleaned her eyes with her wrist. It's like after almost half a minute, it makes it sound like that's a really long time. That's really not. If you're like seeing your friend off, like 30 seconds isn't that big of a meltdown, really. Promise that you'll write to me every day, Ika said. Ika put on her glasses and took out a brooch. There's one too many outs here. Ika put on her glasses and took a brooch out from one of her pockets. She handed it over to Michi, squeezing her hands together in the process. The brooch had an ornament that looked like the flowers that bloomed from the apple tree of the academy. Every day, without fail, Ika exclaimed. Every day, Michi responded. Even Yuki, right? Michi said while looking back at him. Yuki Haru was almost done with the wyvern, adjusting the straps to make sure nothing would fall off during the flight. I'm not really sure that I could write. Even less if it has to be every day. How about once a week? Yuki said. Ika frowned upon hearing that, looking at him with a bit of jealousy in her eyes. If I find out that you've touched her inappropriately, you will feel my wrath, unless she asks you to. Consent! Ika screamed, making Yuki look back at her with a confused expression. He's like, what? What if she's the one that touches me? Yuki said, with a small grin on his face. Yeah, what if? That wouldn't happen, she answered back, staring back at Michi, trying to get some validation for her words. Michi's like, I'm gonna change the subject. I should get going now. Yep, she changed the subject. She's like, I was just gonna kind of be alone, and it's only gonna be me and him. And I mean, only so many things you can do, you know? Ika could see a bit of a blush across her cheeks. Yuki laughed a bit the moment he saw Ika's face of defeat, but later noticed how flustered her friend was. Thank you for the brooch. I will use it always. Before hugging Ika one last time, Michi tied her hair into a ponytail and used the brooch to tie it. I left some candy for you in my bedroom, as a parting gift, Michi said. I'll eat it all tonight, Ika said. After getting Kita ready for their flight, Michi and Yuki got on their wyvern. Be careful, both of you, Ika screamed. Good luck! The wind currents created by the wyvern kept Ika from moving forward on the platform and made her clothes and hair move wildly. Michi and Yuki waved back at Ika as the wyvern lifted from the platform. Are you ready? Yuki asked his partner. Someone keeps walking up the stairs. I'm trying to see who it is. Is it my husband or my son? I think it was my husband, and he started walking up the stairs and realized I was recording and turned back and walked down. I'm like, you can come in. I can cut those parts out. More than ready. I've been looking forward to this for so long, said Michi, grabbing him tightly from behind. Are you ready, little one? Michi asked as she looked over Yuki's shoulder at Kita. I hope I don't fall, because if I do, I'll probably take you with me, Michi said. That won't happen, said the man out loud. With a lot of confidence in his riding skills, he grabbed the reins tight and pulled them to the left, commanding Kita to turn in that direction. The wyvern made its way through the branches of the tree that partially obscured the view around the academy. So was only he taught? I occasionally click stuff just to see what the heck it's supposed to do, but was only he taught how to ride the wyvern and command it? That's really weird. If they're both going on this journey, then they should both have been taught how to ride. A numbing silence invaded their eyes as they got used to the wind moving through the sides of their faces. The couple could see the large mountain range on the horizon and even farther the infertile lands created by the fire rain. This charred lands surrounded the academy in every direction, their eyes focused on the skyline for a few moments. Yuki pulled on the reins, causing Kita to make a turn, so they could start moving towards their destination. Terraformation, the process through which infertile and magically charged soil is manipulated to rapidly heal and nurture life once more. This world depends on terraformation to survive, not only to create more habitable zones, but to maintain magical balance. A little over 200 years ago, they gave us synopsis of this before, an event of cataclysmic proportions took place, the fire rain. A massive firestorm was cast upon this world, so destructive that in less than 10 hours most life on the surface was eradicated. Only a few places, those which had enough time to prepare, managed to survive. Even though some locations were left unharmed, more than 95% of life on the planet perished. Most of the survivors succumbed to their wounds, disease, or as a result of the famine that soon followed. The magic that permeated these lands released large amounts of heat, making it impossible to get close to them. Nothing could survive the conditions within these zones. The old name of the continent became irrelevant. It was soon renamed Uzu, a few decades after the fire rain. So how are we going to go about terraforming and such? In the old tongue of the continent, it meant survivor. You know, the academy has always been kind of suffocating for me. To think that without it, a lot more people would have died, Michi said, holding her partner close. Thanks to it, we can continue to save the land. Yuki got serious right away. The sight of the charred lands was quite ominous. I think we should see it through a different lens. There is not much left to save on these plains. We can only start over. The academy started to look small in very little time. Wyvern travel was quite fast. Yuki took the compass out of the bag that was hanging on the base of Kita's neck. He handed it over to Michi so she would navigate through the skies. For years, the communication between the magical academies, institutes, and cities that survived was cut. Oceans and large walls of fire made it impossible for communities to thrive. They all put their attention to the ancient technique that quickly turned into a priority. Terraformation became indispensable for life to continue. After years of work, corridors were created that managed to connect cities. These corridors were long, terraformed areas that kept the flame from bursting out of the ground. The reason they kept their grim look was because of the thick ash from neighboring charred plains. Even if the land was treated, the conditions surrounding these corridors made it impossible for life to take hold once more. However, their main purpose was a success. Michi sighed. I always wonder how these places looked before becoming this. Could you imagine green and clean everywhere? People living without fear that the ground under their feet would kill them? And we have to live this. The wyvern was very used to the burnt smell that came from the ground. It didn't seem to mind flying over these areas. It must have been a good life, Michi said. That paradise was taken away from them, even before they were born. A world without war nor hunger, where disease was not that much of a big deal with how advanced healing magic was. That description was just too perfect for Yuki to imagine. He found it hard to believe such life could even be possible. He understood the nature of people. They were drawn to conflict after all. 200 years after the fire, peace between both continents had started to dwindle. Even internal conflict in Yuzu was becoming a problem. It has been a few years since I've been to Foxtrot. Has it changed much? She asked. That city has always looked the same since the first time I visited. It has expanded quite a bit, but its people haven't changed at all. They are always so friendly and treat magic users with a lot of respect, Yuki said, before looking over his shoulder. Michi hugged Yuki a little tighter. Seeing you this calm while writing Kita really helps my nerves. You really are good at it, Michi said. Those writing classes finally paid off, Yuki said. After a short silence, Michi spoke. We have quite some time to relax, only the three of us. Do you think we will have to present ourselves to someone once we arrive? Or will we be completely invisible to everyone? Deep inside, she was hoping for the latter to happen. Hard to tell. I know about it. I know as much as you about that. But considering that we have to get at least one approval, I think we're going to have to talk with someone from the mission staff at the Foxtrot Tower, Yuki said. We will have to take advantage of that wind current. Hold on tight. Yuki grabbed the reins tightly, showing a lot of confidence. I trust... Oh, wait! The girl screamed as she felt her stomach drop. Kita dropped from the sky in a sudden movement. The wind current pushed them further, and making them gain quite some speed. Nobody ever would be ready for such a sensation, Michi thought as she felt the wind run through every part of her body. It was a terrifying sensation, but also one of her favorite. She felt free. Captain, I think I left my stomach back there, Michi said, trying to keep herself together. Yuki had a mischievous smile on his face. Oh, Yuki. Oh, Ika was added to the journal. Yay! I like Ika. Oh, the little clock is spinning. That's showing the time because 5 hours went by. After 5 hours of flight, the pair were reaching their destination. A very deep fog was preventing Yuki from looking ahead. He slowed down in case they encountered any other dragon moving the opposite direction. Like, is this game a game or is it just a visual novel? Because so far we haven't done anything. I'm wondering if we get to the terraforming part, if like we actually get to do something, or if it's just a visual novel. Regardless, I'm only going to do 3 episodes of any demo And stop after that because it's a demo. And if it goes longer than 3 episodes, it's not a demo anymore at that point, at least as far as I'm concerned. And so they'll be about 30 minutes long each. I don't think I'm going to do another one of this one though, because I think this gives us enough to like go off of these two, unless they introduce a new type of game element or something that's not just reading. Once the fog started to clear up, they noticed a very different view down below. It's all green! The dead plains had slowly started to phase into beautiful, colorful landscapes. Cereals and vegetable fields started to become visible. Corn was the main thing produced on Foxtrot, so the majority of what they saw was just that. There were farms all over the place, and they could notice several other flying creatures moving around the area. Not long after, they arrived at their true destination, Foxtrot, a city in the form of an irregular oval with a huge tower in the middle. It was not nearly as tall as the apple tree of the academy, but considering it was the biggest in the city, it left quite an impression. There was a river that flowed through the middle of the city east to west. The population of the city was about 27,000 people, making it the 9th largest city in all of Uzu, and the 3rd largest within the Zhao Xin's administration. The Foxtrot Tower, being one of the few surviving buildings from the Old World, became a place of importance in the continent. It was the home to Zhao, the ruler of Alhum, the country southwest of Uzu. This made Foxtrot the capital city. This tower also became the first and most important headquarters of the Terra Magus in the continent. Michi and Yuki remained silent for a few minutes as they looked around the city from above. Their eyes eventually focused on the large tower near the middle of the city. It's much larger than I remember. Let's get some rest as soon as we land. Or at least you, Kita, Michi said while rubbing an area of the wyvern's stomach that wasn't covered by the saddle. Kita's breathing was heavy because of how tired she was. Carrying them was not a problem. The length of the trip was pushing her limits. Burflies! God, the burflies! Click them. Clicking things doesn't seem to do anything. I don't know why I even have a mouse. Yuki guided Kita directly towards the tower. Their instructions had been to go there directly, and that they would be guided from there. There were platforms on different heights of the tower. These butterflies must be giant, if those are doors. That's a door, and that's like a giant butterfly. They noticed someone was standing near the entrance to the east platform near the top of the tower. Yuki thought he recognized that person until he confirmed their identity by landing. Your uncle. How am I not surprised that he's the welcoming party? Said a not-so-excited Yuki. Michi's uncle was talking with someone at the time, a conversation that didn't last long, as they parted ways as soon as the wyvern stopped moving its wings. I thought he would be busy with work at this time of day, Michi said as she waved at her uncle, who already had his full attention on them. She squeezed Yuki's waist. I didn't think we would meet him this soon, to be honest, Michi said nervously. Is her uncle like the king or whatever? He is the one in charge. He is the one in charge of new recruits, after all, so it makes sense, Yuki said. The man was already very close to them by that point. Michi, my precious little girl, the man said out loud. She is way too old for him to be picking her up like that. They said she is of age. She's like 18, and he's like manhandling her, and it's weird. The man took Michi by her waist and pulled her off the wyvern. Her security harness was still strapped around her, making the movement more awkward than it should be. Uncle Vin! Michi screamed as she felt how she was being carried with so little effort. Vin didn't seem to care about embarrassing Michi like that, moving her in the air as if she were a little girl. His laughter was out of place considering the height and high body mass of the man. Yuki was not sure what to say. This was not the first time seeing Vin and Michi interact this closely. After wrapping her arms around his neck, a very surprised Michi spoke. I've got so much to tell you. We were flying for like 6 hours. Yuki is such a great pilot, and I think that Kita's quite hungry. Her stomach started rumbling, and, Michi said. She immediately got ashamed of the fact that she was acting like a little girl. I think we are ready to get our luggage and to present ourselves, she said in a much more mature tone. I'm pretty sure that is Foxboy's job. Isn't that right? Vin said, as he looked back at Yuki with a less than friendly stare. Yuki frowned at the man before slightly shaking his head. I think so, but what? Yuki said before being immediately interrupted by Vin. What is this? Search for sparks. What? Okay, this is spark. Why did it go upside down randomly? What are we searching for? Michi, come with me. We have something to discuss, Vin said, finally placing the girl on the floor and removing the harness. He started to guide her inside the tower. Michi and Yuki looked confused at that since they were convoked together. Wait. I'm supposed to be looking for something? Oh. I found something. This platform is so small. If I had been riding Kita, we would have went right through the door. What? I didn't know I could be doing this. Okay, so when this little eyeball does that, we can look for random nonsense on the things. Okay. Alright. Alright, but if I do this, it goes back. Michi stopped after only a few steps. Wait, but shouldn't we do that together? Did something happen? Michi asked. Yeah, seriously, splitting them up is really weird. I don't like it. Vin had already moved a few steps away from them. He turned around and looked at them for a moment, realizing that Michi would not go anywhere without Yuki. He finally complied. Come with me, both of you. Someone will take care of your luggage in Wyvern, said Vin. His attitude changed almost immediately, as if he had seen something he didn't like. Michi grabbed her partner's hand. We will be all right. We are together after all, Michi said, squeezing his hand a bit. Her nervousness was quite apparent. It is just that I'm not used to hearing him talk like that. Let's go, Michi said. After parting ways with their Wyvern for now, Michi and Yuki made their way inside the Foxtrot Tower. Her uncle clearly doesn't like Yuki. She's all like, we are an item. Please stop being the weird uncle. A very serious Ben was waiting for them inside the corridors of the tower. The structure was made out of magic-infused blocks, specializing in preventing and slowing down the natural decay of the materials. It is the same property that made it possible for Zhao to protect this place from total destruction. Ben took them both towards the highest floor of the tower. On their way up, they found several members from other terraforming teams. Most of the people in the headquarters are already people that actively work in the field, which made them especially interesting for Michi and Yuki. The inside decoration of the tower was quite simple, but it was that simplicity that gave it a sophisticated feeling. After reaching the top of the tower, they found themselves in a long hallway with a single large door in the middle. Like most of their other furniture, this door frame was made out of real wood. It was clear that the reason behind it was because this was one of the last surviving assets of the tower from the old days. The house then? Are we really going to meet her? Yuki asked, quite surprised. Slow down, Fox Boy. I was told only Michi could go inside. You will stay here with me, Vin replied. Michi looked quite nervous upon hearing someone arranged a meeting with the ruler of Olum. I don't understand. Why just me? Michi asked. Vin just shrugged. Don't worry, she doesn't bite. Yuki approached Michi and said, I will wait here. Don't worry. I bet she just wants to meet you. Yuki was trying to find a reason for this meeting that to take place so suddenly. Zhao has always had some kind of distant influence on our family, so there could be a personal reason for this, Vin explained. All right, Michi said before approaching the door. I hope she's as friendly as you make her out to be, she said before going inside. Good luck! Yuki said right before she closed the door behind her. Giant butterflies, yes, giant butterflies. And I think we're gonna end it there. So, thoughts on this game? I wouldn't call it a game. It's like more like a visual novel, unless at some point there's a game element. So, like if you wanted to play a visual novel, it seems kind of interesting. I would really like if there was more game elements to it, or choices, or something. So I feel like I'm not just reading a book. Some visual novels are just like reading a book, and they're really fun. And some of them are like this, where this could be a really, really fun game. It's a good concept for an actual game, but you need to have more interaction than just like clicking this eyeball and then clicking around looking for sparkety things. Apparently my battery's running. So, I would say I might finish playing it, like, if I have nothing else to do, but not on... I wouldn't put it back up on, I wouldn't let's play it unless everybody wanted me to, or unless some kind of game element comes into it later. So I think I give it like a 5 out of 10, and it is available for free on Steam, at least the demo, so if you guys want to check it out, go ahead and check it out. But I think this is the last, this is the last episode I'm going to be playing of this one. So everybody, remember to make room for your passions, and I'll see you next time. Bye!